So today I want to talk to you about AI, artificial intelligence. And there's a lot of conversation about it, but stay tuned because I want to share what's really going on with AI. We're getting started right now. Hey y'all, I'm Debbie Dobbins. I'm your host for this episode of Your Wichita Falls. Why would I be talking about AI on a channel all about Wichita Falls? Well, if you pay attention to this channel, it's about living your best life. And I can assure you that if you are not in the camp that says, I'm embracing AI, you're going to be left behind. And I want you to kind of put this in a different perspective because I hear these, I had a client the other day and I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. One of my favorite new things to do, I'm like a kid in a candy store is exploring AI. There's so many different levels and versions of it. This client was closer to my age, which is a lot of people in this age category. I'm a baby boomer that are, oh my gosh, AI is going to take over the world. Well, here's the thing. They probably, meaning the people that were alive in the early 20th century when we started having horseless carriages, right? Everything was on a buggy with a horse. And then along came this thing called a horseless carriage. We now call it a car. And imagine, Model T Fords back then and what we now drive around in Teslas, right? It's mind-boggling. However, if you've ever watched Downton Abbey, people were afraid of electricity coming into a home. There will always be advancements. There will be an evolution of the world that we live in. That's how we roll as human beings. And the fact of the matter is that artificial intelligence is here. Just like the horseless carriage was there back then. Just like electricity was there back then. Just like the atomic bomb was there back then. Just like the internet was part of the 20th century. And there's a lot of people out there that say now that the progress or the development that happened from 1900 to 2000, 100 years, was so exponential, and that in the 12 years from 2000 to 2012, 13, 14, the same amount of progress that happened in those 100 years, and that we're on track to have that same compact 100-year advancement in the next 3 years. What? You can't even imagine what we are going to see. You cannot. Because back then, who could imagine when you're driving around on a horse and buggy that in 100 years, which now this 100 years is going to be in 3, they had no concept about what was about to happen. That there were going to be planes flying, there were going to be rockets going to planets, there were going to be men walking on the moon. None of that you can comprehend. So I think it's interesting. The beginning of time have been poo-pooing or saying this is going to cause devastation and the world is going to come to an end. It's not true. And I was watching something the other night on Y2K. And so think about that. 1999, the clock's about to turn over, and it's been 23 years since that. And not only did the internet not crash and the world come to a screeching halt, but we have progressed so far. So AI, everybody's probably talking about, at least I hear a lot of people talking about ChatGPT. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to do a video on it separately. But that's really just dabbling in this AI. And if you are a business of any kind in this world today, if you do not get on board to use AI, you will be out of business. I will tell you that. I'm predicting it because think about, records have made a comeback, but the development just of our medias, right? We had television and you had satellite and, then we had cable, and I had a TiVo back then and I thought that was exceptional. Now I wouldn't even dream of doing a TiVo because everything's on my phone and it's streaming, everything's streaming. And if you thought that you were gonna keep your VHS recorder and that was gonna last you for the rest of your life, it didn't. But all of those companies, so you think about all the companies in progress that lose out because they don't pivot and they don't come to the realization that these tools that are so magical and available, you can make videos with them, and content is king when it comes to having a business. So AI has now allowed us to take all this information that's completely out there, available on the internet, and condense it down into a prompt, which is a question that says, hey, what could I do if? And I can share with you that when I do this video on just a chat, your mind will be blown if you don't use it yet. But your mind will be even more blown if you do use it and you're just dabbling in it, because it is so robust. And the good news is, and I think this is one of the greatest things that came out of COVID, is that people want their lives back. They want their time back. So what AI has done is allowed us to be more efficient in what we do. People are thinking, oh, everyone's going to lose their jobs. No, they're not. What's going to happen is that people are more efficient. So you can take a 5-day work week and turn it into 3.5 days, which is just awesome. And living in a place like Wichita Falls, I'm bringing it back to Wichita Falls because it's all global anyways. But if you live in Wichita Falls and you have this low cost of living, and I've shared this on many videos, this is a great place to have your center, your hub. And then you can go anywhere. So you've got your space here, you live here, you can work remotely someplace, you can use AI and create more time for yourself, you can become more efficient, and then you can travel. Or you can explore, or you could do something that's in addition to what you do already. You can create a side hustle. The thing about what I love more than anything about this AI is that it makes life easier. And yes, could people take advantage of it and do things inappropriately? Well, 100%. But when you drive a car, when you're driving down the highway, what keeps us in our lanes? Now, yes, there's accidents out there. People drive drunk or they don't drive the way they're supposed to, but for the most part, we're all living in a world that we participate in and have really not written rules. There's written highway rules, but people stay on the road. You don't have a head-on collision every time you go outside and drive because people are out there. People want to play in the world. I want to leave you with this, that I'm going to do some videos on AI and show you exactly what it can do and the robustness, as I said, of it, that you can take your life in a direction that you never even dreamt of. And that's what's really amazing about anything called progress. You don't have the ability to see what it is at this point. And so part of that is just being open to your own imagination, to your own creativity, and to have the best life. Live your best life. You want to know more about Wichita Falls? There's a link in the first comments below that you could schedule a Zoom meeting with me, and I would love to share more about anything Wichita Falls or life itself. And as I always say, y'all come back now. You hear?